Surprise! Here it is, the first moment that I set my eyes upon this glorious spaceship. The sun had just poked out to preside over a Columbus dawn, shattering its million golden rays onto its constituents, in this case the crystalline shards of November frozen grass. The previous owner of the vehicle, whose name I won't reveal but will tell you in the secrecy of personal contact, had graciously agreed to meet me an hour from his home, a miniature compound of sorts that he referred to simply as the farm. After a 2-day flat-out sprint from Texas in my also newly acquired 2002 Volkswagen Jetta without cruise control or air conditioning, the leisurely pace of this acquisitional drive was filled at once with both exhilaration and a quiet, easy calm. The cool blue, frosty morning air, mixed with the raging, radiant orange of an inferno burning some 93 million miles away, lent an aura of conflicting dualities resolving themselves in symbiotic harmony. When the transaction was made and the deed was done, it was back home to Janky Town in the Jetta, with the Aerostar lying in wait, a brief, brilliant oasis moment between two vast deserts of time. And welcome back to Janky AF. Now here we have my beautiful, oldly acquired 1993 Ford Aerostar Sport. This is one of my favorite years of the Aerostar. I've always lusted after a sport model, and now I have finally achieved the dream. I'm a serial Aerostar owner and couldn't be more excited. Now the acquisition of this car has a wonderful story. You may have seen, if you've watched this channel, Janky AF, the jankiest channel on the YouTube or all of the internet. I went out and purchased a 2002 Volkswagen Jetta in Houston, Texas for $10 from my good friend Eddie Bauer, the man himself. And I just went out to Ed's wedding and actually officiated his beautiful wedding with the wonderful Maya. And on my way home, I took delivery in the great city of Buffalo, New York, of this 1993 Aerostar. I bought the car, as I said, passing through Columbus, Ohio on my last trip to Texas. And because I was on my way home from buying a car, I decided to buy another car. And I couldn't drive two cars at once. It remained in Columbus for some time. I clandestinely and secretly, partly for the fun of it, partly out of shame and embarrassment, did not tell anyone about this purchase. And then my great friend John from the outstanding band Green Schwinn.
Oh, once there was a pretty girl, the fairest in the land. The young men in the county were asking for her hand. Laid off of the moon, laid off of the sea. I offered her a sandwich and she said she'd marry me now.
A fitting name for a car of this shade. Now it is more of a teal, but we'll get to that. He actually was a private driver for me. He took a Greyhound bus to Columbus and he drove this wonderful stallion back to the Queen City of Buffalo, New York, where several months later I found myself finally again on the way back from Texas, coincidentally enough, and took the car from him. He's going to do, he did some videos on the car and his journey home, and we're going to capture that and have a video for you on that. But it is just a wonderful, outstanding vehicle. Of course, the Sport Edition, we have the body matched grille and headlight bezels. As you can see, the paint is in very nice condition. You have these wonderful Sport logos here, just pure 90s nostalgia. You have your Aerostar running boards. Right here you do have that, and we'll just ignore that for a second. We'll get to that in a bit. But obviously you can see the body is very nice. We'll come inside here. You have your beautiful, what I call facelifted interior, so a little bit more modern than my 1986 Aerostar. It only has 118,000 miles on it, fairly low for an Aerostar, especially, you know, almost a 30-year-old car now. Seats, the beautiful Aerostar seats with your wraparound head support here on your beautiful two-tone fabric with your nice, more like suede, almost Buick vintage seats with your cloth here. As you can see, there are no seats in the rear. This is going to be probably a leisure vehicle, some sort of camping vehicle. Take the sweetheart out for an ice cream and a little camping trip down in the Catskills or something. You have your crank windows here, which I absolutely love. Huge fan of crank windows. Crank windows always very good, of course, just in case you drive off of a pier. That wonderful Aerostar door sign, just vintage Ford everywhere here. The tiny little mirrors, which actually are quite functional as I've been driving it around. You have a pull tab for your headlights, another feature I absolutely love in older vehicles. Little jankies here and there. You know, it is almost a 30-year-old car. We have your Aerostar XL here, and you have your tow hitch here. Of course, the Aerostar was capable of towing 5,000 pounds, or so Ford claimed. Rear window. This, I'm guessing, is some sort of dealership badge. I very much like it. Beautiful taillights here, and you can see your great little pinstriping that wraps around with your blue stripe, and of course all the way going back to the great Sport logo. Now on Wikipedia they mentioned that the Aerostar Sport was largely a cosmetic package, which is very generous because it is completely an aesthetic package. There is nothing performance-wise that has been upgraded in this vehicle. It has the 3-liter V6 in it. These came with the 3-liter and the 4-liter. You hear various things about which one is better. Apparently the 4-liter is obviously a little bit more powerful, but the 3-liter Vulcan V6 was supposedly a little bit more reliable. We shall see about that. And just a gorgeous, gorgeous vehicle. Now, of course, the sunlight is playing tricks on our eyes here a little bit, and it doesn't really, the camera doesn't really do justice quite how teal this vehicle is. But I'm trying to make up for that with my teal outfit and uniform here. It just glistens in the sun. It is amazingly beautiful, and now it is in the hands of Janky AF, another vehicle in the fleet. We've gone completely crazy. There are too many cars. I don't know what I'm going to do with all of them. I can't stop myself. But let's just bask for a moment in the glory and the splendor and the grandeur of this vehicle. Shall we? Amazing. So I'm going to give you the full story about how I came to purchase this vehicle, how I came to meet up with the former owner, and it was quite the journey and the endeavor, and now it's all here right now, and I almost can't believe it. It's been almost like 6 months since I last saw this vehicle, and I can't wait to drive it and have fun with it and probably do repairs to it at some point, as we must do with all our janky vehicles. So we'll give you a little beautiful scenes of sort of the acquisition of this 1993 Ford Aerostar. Stay tuned, and Janky do Thanky.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.